What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Another day, another dollar with your boy. We breaking it down once again. The ES futures contract. First and foremost, obviously, I have not posted in a little while. That's because I haven't been around my desktop, as I was at the Camelback Trading Retreat. For those of you that don't know what Camelback Trading is, great mentor, great teacher. Paul Asmar is his trading room that I participate in and, have been with for a little while now. And honestly recommend that you guys go check out A, his channel, and B, join the Discord. It is a great group of traders. I got to meet a few of the guys that came to the retreat as well. It was a great time down in South Carolina with Paul, and it was overall a good learning experience. Very unique opportunity to learn from not only Paul in person, but the other guys as well, how they trade, things that they've battled, and how they've become, the traders that they are today. So huge shout out to Paul Asmar and the rest of the trading group that was there. So that's where I've been for the last week, and it was, like I said, just an absolute wonderful time. Could not thank that man and his wife enough for just putting their selves out there and supporting us while we were there. So let's go ahead and get into it. Last week was a bit of a mess all over the place. We had some emotional days up, traded sideways, only to have some emotional days down. We had two separate times where we had double distribution days down. One got taken back. Then we had another double distribution day down again, only to be taken back and end up with a bit of a P shape today as far as our trading day goes. Last week was a rough week overall. Got hurt in a couple trades in last week's price action, but overall, we're reducing size, and we're just going to try to really hone in on being focused and disciplined and consistent with the trades that I take. Not going to be chasing price anywhere. If the trade's there, and the risk is proper, we're going to take it, and that's something I'm going to work on. That's something we discussed with Paul and the rest of the trading guys. Was my consistency isn't quite there, and so that's something I'm gonna work on. Try to get rid of this FOMO that I have, and we'll start very small. We'll try to build up $50-$100 a day, and then from there, increase as we become more consistent. So another reason why, you get to find out what you can work on the most. Reason why you should join his room. Definitely go check out his channel once again. And like I said, these videos are more so for me. I like to go back and review A, my own trades, and then B, just kind of how I have grown as a trader. So, for those of you that are watching this, not only for you, but for me as well, just kind of documenting my journey along the process, in the process to becoming a more profitable trader. Hopefully to do this full time one day. But right now we just got to start with the small goals, $50 to $100 a day. Hopefully, goal for the week I have in front of me, day 50 to 100 for the week. I'd like to make 500 for the month. $2,000 is a great goal. That's a decent amount. And as I was talking with Paul, $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. That's a nice little bonus at the end of the year. So that's the goal. That's what we're shooting for. I'm not trying to make hundreds of thousands of dollars just yet, as I am very, very early on in my career. But let's go ahead and get into what we did today. Sorry about that little rant, but we'll get into what happened today. Look over some destinations. Look at our daily. We'll look at our monthly or weekly and our daily time frames, as we haven't reviewed that on my channel in quite some time. So as you can see, we opened up today inside the set of single prints from that double distribution day down on Friday. We opened up just right in the middle of that, not doing a whole lot early on. Did take a few trades early on in the morning. Actually, in the pre-market, I took a short against the single print fill. In the pre-market, came in, I took it off for decent, just, try to scalp 2 or 3 points here and there, let them add up, as it does add up if you are in the right trade. So try to scalp out about 2 points on that. Worked out well. I took another short in Nasdaq, believe it or not, in the same type of trade. It was a short against single prints. I'm not going to show you their chart, but it was a short against their single prints. It came in, and I took it off for a few points as well. I then took a long in A period after getting out, after we got the overnight high, and we began to fill the single print. So buyers had things in their favor. One thing Paul shared with me and everybody else in the trading group, and something that he definitely values, is his checklist. And one of the things on that checklist, and I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it before, is the overnight high or the overnight low. Right? Those things kind of determine on which way the market is going to go. And he has his stats, just marked. I try to remember what he gives us, and from what he has for the year, we only take out both sides of the overnight some 30% of the time. So the other 60% of the time, usually once we get one side of the overnight, you're less likely to get the other. So once we got the overnight high and we filled the single prints, we began to work our way into the upper distribution. So buying on pullbacks was what I was looking for. Where I was comfortable, I took a long. I actually took a long in B period against the open and A's low, because I felt like, we opened up, we filled the single prints, we have the overnight high. Up, the odds favor us, potentially one time framing up, and if shorts are going to get out, this is the time to get out, right? We had that 10Y point of control back from Friday. We're above that upper distribution. Obviously, if we took out A's low, that trade would have been over, but we held it, and we came back up, and I got out for a few good points. I believe I was long 94. That was actually later. I got long 81. We battled here against the open, and then we rotated up. I took it off around 84, and then I took the long again at around 94, as we were one time framing up, looking to hold single prints. One time framing up, looking to hold single prints. So I was long 94 on a pullback. We popped up. I got out 97. Another good couple points to add to the portfolio. And then after that, I didn't do anything. I took one long in Nasdaq as we were one time framing up there as well. We pulled back, and I felt comfortable taking the long, so I took that for roughly 12 points, and overall did well today. Ended up, not a lot, but enough. And then, happy I got out when I did and stopped trading, because we traded sideways for a little bit, got a reversal bar in H period, where we just kind of, whatever happened. I don't even understand what happened exactly, but we ended up with some type of liquidation break. You could use H's low at 85.50 as an afternoon pullback low. I'm not going to mark it. It's too close to the open for me personally. And yes, we did hold up here, but just overall for the day's range, it's not what I'd like to see. If we get below the 10Y point of control tomorrow and rotate in, I don't expect buyers to kind of step in there. I would expect them to step in more or less closer to the day's low versus that point. So let's go ahead and get rid of these other destinations. But after that, what we did was we pushed up today, putting ourselves back into a balance, because we were one time framing down. We were in a balance. We began one time framing down. Now we're back to balance. So our balance on the daily is 44.19, and then we're going to use this low here at 43.40.75 as our balance. So we're in a relatively large balance. And then not only are we in a balance now on our daily, we got into a balance last week on the weekly time frame, and I'll show you that here in a second. But the weekly balance high is 44.19 as well. So our daily balance high and our weekly balance high is 44.19. Today, sellers defended that pretty well, actually. So we go out today with today's high, today's low, and a 10Y point of control. Yes, you can use 85.50 as an afternoon pullback low. I am not going to use it. But tomorrow, if we open up above 44.01.50, our 10Y point of control, and we look to take out the day's high at 44.14.25, get 17.50, and then 19, our balance high for both our weekly and our daily time frame. And at that point, we'll be getting into that gap that's been holding for quite some time, and it gets filled at 44.46. We do have the 50-day moving average hovering around, believe 29, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's around the 29, 44, 29 level. So inside the single prints. So that could potentially be an issue for buyers if we do break out of this balance to the upside, or we could just blow straight through it because this market was relatively short to an extent. But right now, just kind of grinding back up. So not really sure what to think about it whenever we get near it. Today's range was very tight, and the volume was very low. So we'll see how we go moving forward. And then obviously if we get below the 44.01 level, you have today's low 43.7775, a vacuum down to the 10-wide point of control at 43.5925, and then the day's low at 43.4075, which will be our daily balance low. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the larger time frames. Give you guys an update on that because we haven't looked at that for a minute. And also to reiterate to myself where we are on the chart. So monthly's been one time framing down. We've been one time framing down 3 months in a 3 months in a row now, after taking out and putting ourselves into a monthly balance low. Technically we've been one time framing down 2 months in a row, but setting lower lows for 3. But after putting ourselves into a balance back in August, we one time frame down in September. And now in October, we began to one time frame down. And we got near that level I was looking to hold, around that 4,200 level, but didn't quite get into it. Basically where that change took place and we had that big boom out of the out of balance in June. So we came near it, didn't get to it, but got near that level, and then began to find some short covering and buyers, as well as the 200-day moving average being around that area. You'll see that on the daily here soon. So the monthly still one time framing down. We do have half a month left to eat back at some of this big move down that we had in September. And then, we could potentially put ourselves back into a balance on the monthly if we close out this month right around here, basically, and then take out this month's high next month. At that point, we would be looking to rotate near the yearly highs at that point. So we'll see where we are at that point in time. Let's go ahead and look at the weekly. So I can show you our weekly balance. As we put ourselves into a balance last week, we had been one time framing down, right? 3 weeks in a row after that double inside week down, 3 weeks in a row. We now are in a nice little balance here. Balance high being 44.19, balance low on the weekly being 42.51.25. A pretty decent size range. The previous balance low was 44.23.25. Mark that because we pushed right up to it last week and then backed off pretty good, to say the least. So we pushed up to it last week, couldn't get back inside of that previous balance, which was 44.23.25 to 45.62. That was our previous balance. And then so we're just trying to see if we're going to find acceptance back inside it. Otherwise, this could be a series of lower highs and lower lows. Could this potentially be a lower high we're putting in and then we roll over? Or are we going to break that trend, come out of balance on the weekly, and then begin to attack this big candle down here and get back to that high of 45.14.50? That is the question we have to keep in mind here. Let's go ahead and look at the daily. Inside that weekly balance, you can see we got near that weekly balance high and backed off. Same thing today, got near that weekly balance high and backed off. So far, we are above the 20-day moving average. The 200-day moving average keeps creeping up. It is sitting around the 42.57 level, so right around our weekly balance low. And then the 50-day moving average is right around our weekly balance high. Today sitting at 44.29. Now let's go ahead and update the daily balance here. As we were in this smaller balance one time frame down, and now we're back into a balance. All I got to do is adjust this low here to 40.75. 40.75 is going to be that low. And there you have it, folks. So if we come out of balance to the upside, we should look to attack that 42.29 50-day moving average, and then look to fill that gap. If you look here, you can see where that gap starts and where that gap fills. That gap starts at, well, I should update that to, it's no longer 1850, it is now 19 because we got into it a little bit. That gap starts at 44.19 and gets filled at 44.43.50. All right, and look at that 50-day moving average right in the middle of it. So if we do push up, we'll see how we react to it, what kind of volume, what kind of tempo we get out of it. If not, then we could remain in balance, chop between the 50 and the 20-day moving average for a little bit more time before we come out of balance one way or the other. Hopefully we get a good move. Once again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and go check out Paul Asmar. He's a great mentor. Check him out. See ya.